dream. I'm just a gay guy that makes music. Do you see people coming to you as like the
I am
spiritual?
surprised.
You're my spirit animal, bro.
I don't mind that so much, but I still am surprised by some people how vehemently affected they can be by it in a macho
In a bad way.
bad way.
It's confounding.
Yeah, it's confounding.
It's confounding to
It's
me, all of us
confounding
here, yeah.
how I hate that word homophobic, but how homophobic people can
Yeah,
be.
I mean, when that's the word.
Yeah.
Do you now circling all the way back to Arkansas?
Okay.
And I mean, I'm being serious.
You're preparing me.
No.
One of my favorite stories with something like that is that I'd never played was it Alabama? Birmingham, Alabama. I'd never played Alabama, and for about 2 weeks before the show, I was really worried about it because I was going alone, and I was
You thought it was gonna be all
south,
hillbillies?
and it's gonna be maybe I should get a little security backstage, who knows?
I heard
'cause
he's
didn't
a
know how to work-
homosexual.
Yeah, the whole thing. Arrived there, and I'm in the hotel, and I'm seeing a lot of gay people. A lot of gay guys. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I asked the person at the hotel, and they're like, oh, well, it's actually the world champion gay softball tournament in Birmingham, Alabama. Like the entire town was gay softball players. Yeah, I know. It was like the gayest
Everyone in Alabama
place in the world to be.
And they all threw underhand.
Yeah.
They actually all literally threw underhand.
They all had big balls.
Big balls,
Yeah.
throwing them underhand. Works well with a stick.
So often,
Touch 'em all, fellas.
You never know
Touch
how
'em
it's gonna
all.
work out. Anyway,
So when you go to towns like Arkansas, where it is
Conway, Arkansas.
Conway, Arkansas. Now circling back, do you feel when you look out at the audience and realize that these are quote unquote your people?
Yeah.
Not necessarily gay, but
Yeah.
people that get it.
Yeah.
Does that make it a better show for you? Do you feel like I got to take it up a notch? This is really like do they pull you in?
Yeah, no, they do. They do. I mean, I'm also, I don't know.
Or is that annoying?
No, I adore it, and I have to say, I mean, it's a lot of work, and I got to keep going and doing it, but it's a constant, exercise and just in being, believe it or not, humility, where you have to really think how lucky you are and how fortunate you've been, and through these other people who have ferried you for this many years. I mean, Debbie Reynolds. I'm good friends with Carrie and Debbie. She was at one point she was ill and she couldn't do a couple of shows, and she asked her daughter Carrie, could you fill in for me? and so, and then she said, and then Carrie's like, I don't think that's such a good idea. And then Debbie said, well, it's this certain amount of money. And turns out it's the same thing I get paid for my shows pretty much equally. And I'm like, if I can be getting paid the same thing I get paid now when I'm Debbie's age, that's all I want.
I actually played Debbie Reynolds' granddaughter in the show.
You played her granddaughter?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God.
What show?
It was a show that Carrie had written.
Yeah.
It was great. Debbie?
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah,
She taught me to
she's
tap.
amazing.
I mean, further, I was already a tapper, but she was hoofing, and she had her turban,
So did you
before
play
it was
Billy?
wig time.
Well, Billy's
yes.
her act. You
yes.
played Billy.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
essentially.
I love
Yes.
Billy. Yeah.
You actually knew the name of the.
Oh, I know this. I know that. I know. I've done this for a long time. I slept with Carrie 2 nights ago.
Really?
Yeah, in the same bed for a while. I mean, not all night. I had to get up. It was just too.
Who can go all night at this
I'm
age?
one of those love 'em and leave 'em types.
Yeah, of course. What advice? We get a lot of emails from people. What do you tell a parent wrestling with a gay child? And
Well,
I
the
hate
big
that I
thi-
even have
yeah,
to say that
yeah.
word.
Well, my big thing, and this is something that I kind of I pine the end of is that pine over the end of is that when I was a kid and I started to realize what was going on because, it wasn't so mainstream and being gay was, still, actually it was arguably even more treacherous because the AIDS was, right out of the gate. So what I had to do is that I had to go back into history. I had to read Oscar Wilde. I had to listen to Tchaikovsky. I had to, watch Jean Cocteau films and be like, these are the peeps, these are
Yeah.
my peeps, and Cole Porter or whatever. I had to kind of go back to the high end of culture, which gays have always dominated throughout history. So that's what
And
got me
softball
through.
in
Yeah, and
Alabama.
softball. And or other people's softballs. And so the so then so I had to do that. Now I find, unfortunately, that with a lot of, because it's a lot more open and a lot more accepted, there's this kind of, then that's when the marketers come in and the vodka companies and the and the
Gay vodka, drink it right
and the
out of the bottle.
politicians, and the flags and stuff, and it's fine.
But it
It's
becomes about
fine.
who you sleep with as opposed
Yeah,
to just who you
and
love. It's not about
I know,
genitalia,
and about what you
It's
wear,
yeah,
and
right.
about how what your body's like, and
As
all of
opposed
this
to
stuff.
who you love, who cares?
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know, and it's sort of, and I find for young people it might even be more difficult now because, you know, life is tough in general, even if you have, matching tank tops, and it's kind of like, and you
That's
might
also
as
going in the
well-
quote notebook.
Yeah.
Life is tough in general, even if you have matching tank tops. Rufus Wainwright. We'll put that right
So
next to
go
our
for,
Siddhartha quotes.
Oscar Wilde as opposed to
Go to Cole Porter. Just begin.
Andy
begin
Cohen.
What's your perfect day off?
I
know-
do love Andy Cohen. I do love Andy.
What's the 411, Andy Cohen? Watch what happens live. That's the show. Do you ever go on that show?
I haven't been invited yet.
Who's your ideal straight?
Well, aside from you,
Wow.
but who even knows if you're straight?
Buddy, I'm on the waiting list,
yeah.
believe me.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to be in a scene next week. Terrence Malick is making a movie about music stuff. And they're going to shoot some stuff in Austin at this festival I'm doing. And I think I have a brief scene with Ryan Gosling,
Our favorite.
which is
Canadian
yeah,
also.
Yeah.
And he grew up dancing. He's a dancer.
Yeah. So
Watch when
I
he
don't
act-
know him at all. But
She
but
pointed
he's-
out to me, and watch
but
it next
he's
time you see
pretty lethal.
anytime you watch him act. She pointed out to me, watch his body. You could tell he's a dancer.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the way he acts, he almost acts
I'm
like a
very
dancer.
excited about that. And Michael Fassbender, the two of them. I'm going to be in the same room with the two of them.
Shit.
It's like,
Oh my God! Right.
And I
mean, geez,
fucking had to get married
How many times did you press
before this
pause when you
scene.
saw Shane?
I know.
You just wore out your pause button.
Yeah.
Yorn comes in and goes, "How come the two hash marks on the remote are worn out?" Oh, I was watching Shane. I was writing.
A song about you.
Yeah, I was writing a song called "Pause It" on Fassbender. It's all about you, Yorn. Two last questions, and then we'll let you get out of here. I know
Okay.
you're very busy. And by the way, there's really no reason you need to be doing this podcast. So just thank you.
Oh, no problem.
And we love
no
you. And we
problem.
just
Thank you. Thank you
we
so much.
think you're God's gift to music.
Oh, well, that's
So when you talk about those
thank you
people that
so
used to do
much.
drugs with, and like, oh, they get me. I'm like, well, you're
You
kind of in
didn't
a
even
room with
need it?
people
Oh,
that, that
good. I
know.
didn't need to-
We know you hung the moon.
I didn't need to pay thousands of dollars to shady characters. to
No,
hear
you
good
could
things
just come
about me.
over, and she would have baked you muffins.
Okay.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Like, what's the end game here?
I still want to write. I'd love to write a great opera. I mean, I wrote an opera called Prima Donna, which did very, very well.
Is that true that Lincoln Center wouldn't put it on unless you changed it into English?
the Metropolitan Opera?
The
yes.
Metropolitan
Yeah,
Opera.
yeah,
You
yeah,
write an opera
yeah,
in French.
Yeah, and they wouldn't
And the
do
Met
it.
says, if
Yeah,
you change
and
it to English, we'll put it
we'll
up.
put it on, yeah.
And you told them to kick rocks.
I told them to kick rocks.
That's
right
badass,
away.
bro.
Yeah, and now it went to BAM, and it did very, very well there at Brooklyn Academy of Music. And now I've been commissioned to write another one. But that's kind of my big dream.
Do you like writing operas? Is it French because it's a more beautiful language?
Yes, French is more beautiful
Well,
than English.
I know that. Bien sûr.
That's an obvious.
Je sais ça,
That's
mais
obvious. No, it sounds but opera in well. I mean, it's
An
hard
opera
in
in
English.
Latin.
I'm
What's
not. I'm
up?
not against. Well, I'm writing one. There's a lot of Latin in my new opera, but
you
I'm
know
not
what?
totally
That's going to
against.
sell a lot of tickets. People
I'm
can't wait
not-
to hear Latin.
I'm not. I'm
what are
not,
you out of your mind?
The famous quote with English and opera, though I'm not totally against writing in English. I just didn't want to hit it off the bat. But the famous quote is in Italian. Libiamo, elettico. That in English it's drink, 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 drink.
It's not.
Yeah.
So I
That's it.
think you
Yeah.
answered it already with the Debbie Reynolds
Yeah.
question, but the question, are you ever done?
No, no, especially looking at my father, who's now in his late 60s and singing better than ever and writing the most incredible songs of his career. And my
Only
mother,
because you brought it up. Mended fence, good to go.
yes, no, my dad and I are doing really, really well. I
Good.
mean, you're never going to get what you always wanted, and it's not going to be a complete package,
Oh.
but
Brother, let me tell you
but
something.
it's
It took me so long
yeah,
to realize that the love my father isn't giving me is 100% of everything he has.
yeah, yeah.
And I tell my
yeah.
friends and I tell anybody that'll listen, like, your grouchy dad on the couch that you think you can't please. That's when you were born. All the stars in the universe got into a onesie, and he
Yeah.
told everybody, "I have a son,"
Yeah, yeah,
and he
yeah.
still feels that way.
Yeah, yeah,
And your
yeah,
job as a
yeah.
parent, I feel, everyone is just to give that much more than what you had.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
yeah.
the gig. If you can do better, get out there, get a kid, and do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
but your father is, and I'm saying it to the listeners, he's giving you everything. There's no
No,
rainy
I
day
know,
fun that your
I
father's going to go,
know.
you know what? Now that
Here
I'm
it
90,
is.
you want to go to the carousel? And you know what? I never looked you in the eye and told you I love you.
Yeah.
He can't. They don't know how.
No, I know.
I can't thank you enough. And RufusWainwright.com is a great website. And I loved you're very interactive. Your meet and greets.
Yeah.
Everyone's so happy.
I know.
You put on such a show, and you got all these housewives that are like,
I know. In Birmingham, Alabama, like the entire town was gay softball
did they all go to
players.
your show?
Yeah, I know. It was like the
uniform.
gayest
everyone in Alabama,
place in the world to be.
And they all threw underhand.
Yeah.
they actually all literally threw underhand.
They all had big balls.
Big balls,
Yeah.
throwing them underhand, works well with a stick.
So often,
Touch 'em all, fellas.
You never know. Was it Alabama? Birmingham. Yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. I'd never played Alabama, and for about 2 weeks before the show, I was really worried about it because I was going alone, and I was
You thought it was gonna be all
south,
hillbillies?
and it's gonna be maybe I should get a little security backstage. Who knows?
I heard
because
he's a
didn't know how to work-
homosexual.
Yeah, the whole thing. Arrived there, and I'm in the hotel, and I'm seeing a lot of gay people. A lot of gay guys. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I asked the person at the hotel, and they're like, oh, well, it's actually the world champion gay softball tournament. Yeah, it's confounding.
confounding to
It's
all of us,
confounding
yeah.
how I hate that word homophobic, but how homophobic people can
Yeah,
be.
I mean, when that's the word.
Yeah.
Do you circling all the way back to Arkansas?
Okay.
And I'm being serious.
You're preparing me.
No.
One of my favorite stories with something like that is that I'd never played.
The dream. I'm just a gay guy that makes music. Do you see people coming to you as like the
I am
spiritual?
surprised.
You're my spirit animal, bro.
I don't mind that so much, but I still am surprised by some people how vehemently affected they can be by it in a macho
In a bad way.
bad way.
It's confounding.